Hello everyone, today we are announcing the release of our latest plugin called Syncourse. The plugin is loosely based on the Pearl Syncussion analog drum module, but while it shares many features with the hardware unit, it's not really an emulation of it. Instead, we let the plugin take its own path and embrace many of the digital artifacts and characteristics that came up during development. This gives Syncourse a very unusual style of sound, which could best be described as an extremely digital take on an analog classic. That said, Syncourse can still very much replicate most of the sonic palette of the Syncussion, but it extends it significantly with a plethora of added features and weird and wonderful edge cases. The plugin was made with one specific goal in mind: to make esoteric, percussive sounds in a fun and engaging way. If you're into experimental sound design, this plugin will definitely have something to offer. Let's take a closer look at the user interface. The top section very much resembles that of the Syncussion. We find all the same controls and the same 6 oscillator modes. We have faders to control pitch and decay, a low-pass filter, a pitch envelope, and an LFO with either triangle or square waveforms. The response of the faders and the envelopes has been tuned to match the original Syncussion. Some added features in this section includes control over envelope attack, which determines the clickiness of the sound, the ability to sync the LFO to note triggers, and a polyphonic mode, which gives you 4 voices of polyphony, allowing you to both play chords and to let the tails blend between notes. In the middle, we find a row of knobs. The first knob sets a fixed velocity value for each triggered note, and the next 2 set the amount of MIDI control applied to the pitch and velocity. We can have a fixed pitch, full pitch tracking, or anything in between, and the same goes for velocity. The next 8 knobs let you modify internal parameters, things like cross modulation, frequency ratios between oscillators, and more. In the bottom section we have several features: added modulation routings for the sample and hold signal, as well as the LFO. We can increase the LFO speed to make it 10 times faster for audio rate modulation. We also have a simple arpeggiator to work with. And to round it all off, we have an effects section with a wave folder, clipping distortion and sample rate reduction, tone shaping, and a stereo delay. Let's explore the 6 oscillator modes in a bit more detail. Mode A is a simple triangle oscillator, great for synthesizing kick drums and toms. By adding in a bit of noise, we can give the sound a bit more live. Coupled with the wave folder, you can create some pretty big sounds with this mode. Mode B is a pair of cross-modulated triangle waves. You can control the frequency ratio and the amount of modulation using the frequency B and mod B knobs. As I mentioned before, the plugin can go into some extremely digital territory. We intentionally decided not to band limit the oscillators and let the aliasing run wild when you push the frequency up high. This produces some very rich inharmonic sounds, and while not great for melodic or tonal sounds, they are perfect for harsh percussive elements. Mode C is a pair of triangle waves. It can be used to mimic many kinds of percussive sounds such as claves and marimbas. Mode D applies the amp envelope as a pitch modulator, resulting in a sound that decays in both pitch and amplitude. Combine this with the dedicated modulation envelope and you can create some very unique sounds. Mode E is by far the most complex. It also has the most difference when compared to the original Syncourse. The voice consists of two oscillators, one modulating the other with additional feedback modulation on the second oscillator. This results in some very strange inharmonic sounds that frequently go above the Nyquist frequency, resulting in lots of aliasing and artifacting. Perfect for crafting glitchy, metallic noises and hits. Finally, Mode F is a simple white noise source shaped by the low-pass filter, which can be modulated using the pitch envelope and the LFO. Great for hi-hats. We've already heard some of the effects in action, but let's take a closer look at these three. A wavefolder is a great tool for adding additional complexity and overtones to a sound. It can create almost FM synth-like sounds as well as adding some extra grit. The distortion is extremely harsh and can generate aliasing like nothing else. Again, an intentional desired effect, which adds more harmonics and thickens up any percussive sound. Finally, the sample rate reduction resamples the signal at a lower rate, creating anything from a subtle shimmer at the top end to full-on sample crushing destruction. I hope this video has given you a good idea of what Syncourse sounds like. If you'd like to try it out for yourself, you can download a demo from our website at ghostnoteaudio.uk. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep making music.